Hey everyone, good morning. Happy Monday. Today I want to talk to you about bad advice, okay? Over the past, I think several weeks, maybe even several months, I'm always seeing some advice being given. People are always seeking advice, right? Even if it's small, even if it's big, right? We're always asking questions. And sometimes our questions are larger than we think. Questions could be relating to SEO, right? So if you make a mistake, if you don't do it right, it could potentially hurt you. If you get really bad advice, it could potentially hurt you, and things of that sort. So I've seen some even other advice going around, and I'm like, holy moly, I can't believe people are taking this advice. And it upsets me because I know better, and I want to make sure that people are not doing this. So this kind of video is to warn you, to help you make the right decisions when taking advice from, people out in the real world. Not particularly personal advice, maybe, but advice for business. Hey, good morning, Nicole. I love your hair. Thank you. The reason why my hair is down, just in case you guys are interested, which I don't think you are, but I'm just going to tell you, because I use a new conditioner. So my hair woke up not frizzy. It woke up with these like waves. And I love the new conditioner, so it's a keeper. Totally keeping it. It took me a while to research which one I want to use to help my hair. And it's a winner. Anyway, that's why my hair is down. Good morning, good morning. Let me take a sip of my coffee. I had a long weekend, I'll tell you that. I helped my sister over the weekend with her business. We looked at her SEO. We looked at her photos. We did a lot of work and share. It's gorgeous. Thank you. I'll actually tell you. Oh, a lot of people want to know. Please share which one. I would bring it from downstairs, but I don't think it's necessary. Before we get started, I have to tell you about the conditioner because it took me a while to find. I love the conditioner. Thank you. I love the conditioner that comes in the hair coloring bottles because it's so soft. Just a little bit makes a big difference. Good morning. Hey. So I set out to find what chemical or what thing is in this conditioner that makes it fantastic. Took me a long while, but I eventually found out the ingredient. And then one very long trip to Target. It took me a very long time to find conditioner that carried this ingredient. Finally found it. So, and it's not every single one of this company, but I found some of them that do. Pantene Pro V, you guys know what Pantene is, right? Conditioner has this fancy ingredient in it. If you really want to know more details, you can message me afterwards. But I got there's only some of them that have this fancy ingredient. One of them being the curl line, the one that tames your curls, and the other one that tames frizz in general, the sleek version. Okay? Literally, like, it's okay, it's great. I'm not going to bore you guys for people that don't care about this. Let's move on, okay? So that is the line. Pantene Pro V, the curl one. It's amazing. Okay, so I've seen a lot of advice going around to people, and a lot of times it's a nail biter because I'm like, wait a minute, it's none of my business to get involved because maybe it's another group or something. And I see this advice being given. Let me give you an example. Okay, how about this? Let me give you a couple examples. In another group, it was an SEO question being asked. And sometimes, actually a lot of times, the questions are not so, detailed. So the answer is usually the right one. Okay? Usually it's like, how do I improve my SEO? So some people give the person some things to start out with to help them, right? Especially if they're new. And that's great. A lot of times they're right on. They're good things to start out with. But this one person in this group had a very specific question. Not one of my groups, right? And somebody came on who, how do I say this? Who is a believable person, I'll just say that, gave some advice. And it is completely different, opposite of what I teach. And I was like, not only that, it was wrong. And I was so upset. and I didn't want to get involved because I didn't know how to get involved. So that was one instance. Next instance is I used to have a member in my group, okay, just FYI, who came to me and was like, I really need help. I can't get found. By the way, she had beautiful items. There was no doubt about it. Beautiful photos, beautiful items, okay? Like, and the photos were great as well, so it showed, but she couldn't get found. So obviously SEO is a factor here, right? So I said to her, I gave her some tips, obviously. Then I said to her, if you want to get into it further, SEO webinar is the way to go. It's so thorough. It's a way to go. She said, great, I'm going to save up for it. Over time, I found her in other groups trying to work with other Etsy sellers and sell them a shop critique to help them with SEO, with other things. And I'm like, what? You don't even know how to do SEO yet. And people were jumping at the chance because $20 shop critique, like, no brainer, right? No, absolutely not. Sometimes, obviously, the value, you could tell what's going to come from it. So she was only charging $20 when people jumped at it, and I was so upset, okay, because she's probably going to be giving bad advice. Some advice will probably be decent. You know, I'm pretty sure a lot of you could give people advice if they need some help. Absolutely. But certainly she did not have any background in SEO, nothing, and she was going to sell people advice. I was so upset. Another thing, and I see it all the time. Another thing was there is a person who I see repeatedly post in another group who is struggling, okay? Not struggling in a horrible way, but she wants to keep growing her business, trying to figure out ways, whatever. And some people were asking some advice, and she was like, I'll give you a shop critique, another shop critique thing, but she wanted to do it for free. So people were jumping at the chance. And this person happens to be a person I'm also working with as well that, and I love her, she knows it, that she doesn't quite want to listen to my advice. I don't know, and she reminds me of my sister. I spent time with my sister over the weekend who doesn't want to quite listen to my advice, okay? And I started to realize, guys, and I'm saying this in a mean way, when I was working with her on SEO and I saw I saw some errors in SEO that were not like if, ands, or buts. That were definitely errors. And I said, what's this? And I said, she's like, oh, I thought this. I'm like, no, you don't think. I said, you have to follow what I tell you. I said, because how else am I going to guarantee it works? She's like, oh, but I thought this. It looks like a good number. I was like, you cannot make up your own thing. So I found that that sometimes SEO is harder than it appears to be. Because for me, it appears very easy because that's what I do. But when I teach somebody else, it could be harder. And obviously I get that from my sister, who gets me mentoring her 100%. I found that it was very frustrating that she thought she knew what she was doing, even though I saw like from the outside. I was like, no, you're organized all wrong. By the way, I helped her come up with a SKU sheet, okay? And she had no idea why it was even necessary. I'm telling you, after I pushed, I was yelling at her, by the way. You know what? I was originally supposed to record the session with her. And I did record the first part. Like, it was like 10 minutes. But it became very much like sisterly coaching. It wasn't really kosher to put online. Some kids were running in the background. I yelled at her a few times. She yelled at me. It wasn't really beneficial to me to put this out on YouTube to show you guys. However, I'll tell you that it took me a while to convince her why SKU sheet is needed. It also took me a while, which is fine, to convince her how to use it and how it could benefit her. So it was a very frustrating process, to say the least. And I can imagine that people would jump at the chance of free advice or, simple as that, free advice, right? And a lot of times I give free advice. I do it every single day in these groups, in this Facebook Live. But I'm just here to tell you that I've seen some really bad advice. And I've seen some advice that some members took from other people and other sources, our members, right? And they came back to me and go, Zalia, I would never do it again. I learned my lesson. And that's a good thing, because sometimes you need to learn the lesson to really never do this again. My sister saw how deathly organized I am. And even though I think I could be better, how organized I am, because it took me a while to get here. I was working on some things over the weekend, particularly the email list webinar that I'm working on for you guys. And she saw my methods and she was like, I want to be like you. And I'm like, thank you. But I said to her, listen to me, I'm trying to teach you, but she could be hard-headed sometimes. I don't follow other groups for this reason, only yours. Thank you, Nicola. I think when it comes to very particular advice, if you're in it for SEO with me, stick to only my advice. If you really trust that I've done some great things with you or great things for the group, I'm not an idiot to say that you could only stick to my advice. I'm not trying to be, only me, I'm not trying to be a dictator. I'm just saying that if you trust my advice, stick to it. It could be, I'm not trying to make you weary of the world, but I've seen some really general advice that could go really bad. And I'm like, why is this happening? I think some advice, like I said, is a good starting out point. When somebody's brand new, I think their advice could be relatively okay to start out. But some of these people that take in this advice are regular Etsy sellers, not brand new, just like have been around. And it's upsetting to me. It literally upsets me. I told my husband it upset me because it's happened all throughout, It told my husband upset me. And he goes, okay, Doug, it's your job to make it better. I'm like, no, it's not my job to interfere with the conversation that has nothing to do with me. I can't be like, oh, let me help you. It looks spammy, Andrea, do you offer other free groups besides this one? I do. However, the other group that I offer, which is the Amazon one, is kind of like no-go because we talk about Amazon in this group as well. This group is not, by the way, if you're new around here listening to this group is not just about Etsy. It's about anywhere you sell online that's handmade. Obviously, I specialize in certain things, Etsy and Amazon being one of them. But certainly people have come from .com advice and things like that, which I've helped them. So this is the group to be in when you want the advice. This is the group to be in. This is the Facebook Lives to be in as far as free content is concerned. So I'm telling you this, and if you guys have any stories to tell me, please share. And of course, and by the way, this does not mean you cannot find success with outside advice. You absolutely can. I've seen some great advice. Okay, that's true. But how could you tell what the good and the bad is? How could you tell? There's one advice I give to people all the time, which is if you found somebody you trust that has a track record, not just with other people, but with yourself, right? You tried someone for advice. Let's say if it was me, and you did some other things, and it worked, and you just really like whatever, my style, whatever, stick to me. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Sometimes you might get excited out of all these different things coming all your way, right? But we all know that we don't want to focus on too many things because nothing will get done. Stick to one coach, streamline it. If you don't have a coach in particular you stick to, obviously you could get free advice from me, that's fine here. And I don't care, by the way, if you never pay a dime for my webinars. You could, and there has been members, really good members who are very active, who never paid a dime, okay, for my webinars. I still answer them in this group, free advice all the time, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me, okay? If you want to get something and buy something from me, that's great. If not, that's fine. I'm sincerely here to help you. So when I see bad advice, I'm like, no, don't do it, And some were really bad that if they took that advice and changed something in their shop, it could really hurt their shop. And, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to interject and say something? I have no idea. But I certainly want you to consider when buying something from somebody else, when even taking free advice. You think free doesn't hurt? It does hurt sometimes, right? Because if the advice is bad and it hurts your business. Sometimes in personal life, free advice is wrong. I one time received an email from somebody. It wasn't somebody that I know personally, some business person, and they said that they found a thread on BuzzFeed? Not BuzzFeed. They found a thread online that asked, what is the worst advice you've ever received? Personal advice. And there were some really bad things that really affected people's lives. So this could apply into people's lives as well. Be careful of the advice that you receive when it could really change your world. Another thing is that my dad, a long time ago, when he was young, they didn't have me yet, received some bad advice from his uncle and not to buy a home. Okay? I forgot what the reason was. Well, now my mom still live in an apartment. Well, that could be fine, but still, it's nice to, have them own a house and retire in it. He received some bad advice. He received it when the market was decent back then. Now the market's horrible in New York, right? You can't get a my house would cost several millions in New York, and it's not even possible to even have a house like this in New York, you know? So, bad advice, whether personal or business, you know? Erica, I saw somebody asking about the SEO advice they paid for, which was complete opposite of what you were supposed to do. I wanted to tell him you need to fire your coach. I didn't get involved. I'm wondering, Erica, if we saw the same thing. Because there are a few instances I saw like that really upset me. Again, there's some advice that really hurt people and some that don't. You know, some picture advice is not bad. I think some picture advice, you know, what's the word? I mean, it could be, I would say, but because pictures do take time, do take skill, especially if you hire somebody, if you get bad advice, then it could really change a lot of things for you, which could be upsetting. And what I love is you're real. Oh, thank you. And you are a shop owner and know what works from experience and not theory. Huge difference. That's a good point, Anne. I will say this. I think I know there's coaches out there that don't have shops. In fact, the ones that I know, most of them do not have shops, if not all of them. I think that is fine as long as they have proven themselves. I don't particularly know how they could give advice if they don't have a shop themselves. That I don't know. It could be some mystery that I can never solve, and that's fine. I don't have to solve it. I don't have to know everything, okay? They could possibly still have some great answers. However, part of me does agree with Anne. I have a shop, I run it, which obviously could be very time consuming, right? So I don't give you guys all my attention. I do run a shop as well. But I think knowing the ins and outs, what works, as opposed to just having theories that eventually work itself out is absolutely different. I'm in it with you guys. I experience exact same things, right? I mean, you name it. So while I think that I do have a leg up on the business coach competition, I'm not writing them off because I've seen some that don't have shops that have done really, really well. And then I've seen some who've sold on Etsy just for a month, literally just for a month during December, and now they call themselves a coach. Could they possibly be giving good advice? Maybe, I don't know. But I have to raise an eyebrow to that. That's all I'm saying. Good morning, Amy. Good morning. So, just in case you missed it, we're talking about bad advice, okay? Not every coach gives bad advice, just FYI, but sometimes you get bad advice from normal people. You're like, hey, Sally, can you give me a free shop critique? I see that all the time. Can you tell me what's wrong with my shop and give me advice? Sure. I sold $1,000 this month. I'll give you some advice. Not writing off, by the way, that $1,000 is not a lot or a little. I'm just saying. The person gives advice, and then the person's like, yeah, that makes sense, and thank you so much. I make 0, you make 1,000, so you must be better than me. Let me take your advice. And sometimes it's not that simple, and it upsets me. It literally upsets me, and I want to do something, and I'm not really sure what. I don't think that other people want you to fail. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. 6,000%. People don't want you to fail, so when they give advice, let me read what she's saying. They believe that their advice is good, or they are so new and they want to sell something since it is cheap. They say whatever, and it could hurt. It could hurt you or simply not help you improve, which hurts your development as well. Yes, I love your hashtags. I really love your hashtags. So, it's certainly right. People don't want to hurt you, so you can't help but take it offensively when you're realizing the advice you got was wrong and bad. But I think people that give advice should also, and I know this sounds crazy, but listen up, should also be very wary, because you have to understand that it's like being a doctor. Not really, but being a doctor. Obviously to be licensed, but when you're giving advice to do something, sometimes the advice could be wrong, right? We know that. We've seen TV shows. Of course, it's just TV, but I'm just saying, so you could be held liable. While regular advice you cannot be held liable for. You can't sue people if they give you bad advice. Well, technically you can, but it's quite a process. You have to understand that you're still affecting people's decisions. My husband will tell me when it comes to our friends and really, really, really personal advice, he always tells me, and I always know this, don't get involved, because let's say the friend divorces, right? And it was a wrong decision. She's going to blame you for the rest of her life. You guys know that, right? So Be careful of giving advice, because even though people that don't want to hurt you, they don't realize, hey, I can really change somebody's outcome, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that professional and do that. The only advice I've ever give is to tell people to find you. Thank you. I usually give them a link to the website. Actually, that's a really good point. Not to, be pushy. What I'm trying to say, what Julia's saying is right in the sense that when you see bad advice being given, right? I don't want to be like, hey, come to my group and listen to me. I'm the best. I don't want to do that. That looks spammy. But if you guys say, let me interject here, saying something like, oh, I disagree with this. I think you should come to Dahlia's group or whatever. It's, Handmade Mastermind, or give them some advice that you guys know I talk about during Facebook Lives, whatever it is. Pretty much bringing them my way, then that would be helpful for them, right? And you guys know there's plenty of money to go around. I have helped many of you. I have helped stationery designers. I've helped a lot of them make much more money than they're doing now. And even ones that are exactly in my field. Even ones that were not exactly in my field and have now miraculously become in my field. I'm okay with it, okay? Because if it's not her, it's somebody else. So I'd rather help my members than people that are not my members, okay? I mean, it's just as simple as that, So, Amy, you're the only coach for me. Thank you. Love your way here, by the way. Love your way. Oh, wavy hair. Thank you. Again, if you missed it, I used a new conditioner that made my hair like this. So, if you really, really want to know about it, if you missed the front, message me and I'll be happy to tell you. Happy, happy, happy. Because it took me a while to find this with a certain ingredient in it. Anyway, so let me wrap this up for you guys. I'm going to let you guys go. I have a lot on my plate. It's a Monday, so you can imagine there's always a lot to do. I've started over maybe 2 weeks now, maybe 1 week now, I forgot, week and a half. I started working on the email list webinar, which should be launching sometime in February, tentatively. That's what should be launching. I don't know what today's date is. I think in 1 week, on Monday, next Monday, the 16th, I think it's the 16th, I'll be relaunching for the first time this year, okay? It is, remember, it only happens 3 times a year. I'll be launching shop critiques, okay? When I launched it during the 12 days of Christmas, which was spontaneous, did not expect to, right, whatever, I only, help me out with my words here. I only launched a certain amount of spots because I did not want to overwhelm myself. Okay, I only launched 25 or 25 spots, and they sold out very, very quickly, which is fine. So this time around, I don't like to limit the amount of spots. I like to limit the amount of days. So I could receive 1 million shop critiques in the short amount of days that I do it. You limited numbers? What? Yeah, Amos is here. The SEO webinar, I checked my calendar this morning. The SEO webinar will be updated and revised. It's scheduled to come out, one second. April. In April, it's supposed to come out. It could be a little bit sooner, but I really don't think it's going to be later. I already have it mapped out as far as the new sections and stuff. It's going to be amazing. But that's when it'll be out. But the email list webinar should be out in February. People have been waiting for it for, if I'm not mistaken, over a year now. Maybe a year, maybe a little under a year. But it's important you understand that while you're being very patient over there, I appreciate it, because it's, I don't like to slap things together. I like to be thorough. So when you look at my old webinars, like SEO one, it's good, right? I mean, people love it. But when the upgrade happens, you're gonna be like, whoa, out of your mind. Like, it's gonna be intense how fantastic it is, right? I'm focusing on that type of quality right now. It's what's taking me a long time. The email list webinar, because of the type of webinar it is, will include a lot of sections, okay? Which is great value for you. Because I essentially want to walk you through every single piece as if you were a newborn baby and know nothing. it's important to me because everybody that's taken this webinar may be experienced in different steps. You may know how to start an email list in general, but some other people may not to. So you can skip that section if you want, but it's imperative you still watch it to make sure you don't miss anything. Okay, you'll believe it when it comes out. Okay, cool. I'll see you then. Nicole, I was helping you out with words. Oh, okay. Sorry, thank you. So those are things I'm working on. Okay, I'm working on it nonstop. Let me stretch. The new website reveal should be launching within this month. It was supposed to launch in the beginning of this month. It has to be pushed back. But there's no doubt in my mind, no doubt, that it will be launched before the end of this month. TheHandmadeMastermind.com. Samantha, if we already bought the SEO webinar, will we have to buy the newer version again when it's ready, or will we have access to that one too? Samantha, fantastic question. As with all my webinars, when you buy it, you are locked in. You never have to buy that webinar ever again. You'll be upgraded for free. Yep, hashtag free upgrades for life. For life. In fact, I am very, like for example, the description webinar, when people bought that originally, it got upgraded and even more because it got upgraded even more because I gave a free course with it. People that bought the description webinar before, even though they were not part of the promotional deal with the free course involved, they still got it. So I'm very fair, okay? If I ever offer a promotion with a free course that gets connected to a webinar, you will get that free course if you purchase that webinar before. Okay, you'll be grandfathered in, if you will, okay? By the way, I love the new website host for the webinars. Yes, bought the templates and saw all of them there. Thank you. Yes. On Friday, if you missed it, and I'll send out an email, not an email, I'll post it later today or something, or maybe tomorrow. So people that, I'm sure that they missed it. People, oh, here it is. People have been asking me what I put in my packages, right? What I put in my packages. People absolutely love this one, okay? I have a whole bunch. And I made templates for everybody. It only cost $20. It is literally, you were like, besides the fact that webinars are, I think, undervaluing what they actually are worth, FYI, this is seriously undervaluing me. This is seriously pretty much stealing from me. And I did it on purpose because it was not meant for me to make $1 million off of this. Plus, I wanted to not offer the printed version so you could save some money. If I would have printed for you, you would have been broke. Well, not really, but still. So I wanted to make sure that you got a chance to get templates to print it on your own. It includes videos and a whole bunch of templates. I'm working on some new templates to add in there. And by the way, when you first buy it, you'll have like over 10 templates or more. And because you bought it once at $20, you'll have all the templates in the world there. I have some plans to upgrade that package to other types of templates. Again, if you purchase at $20, which again, the price will be raising up maybe in the next couple of months. I don't know when I feel like it. There'll be much more templates in there being added. So I'm very excited about that because there's other things you guys might need. My sister told me some advice that she needed that she had to end up buying because I was too busy to make it for her. And she's like, I'm sure your members would want this. I'm like, you know what? Good point. Let me read down here. Maggie, love the templates. My college-age son was critiquing my edits. He was a big help with my limited editing skills. Perfect. Renee, why would anyone want to follow anyone else, I ask? Isn't Dahlia the bomb? Thank you. You know what I think it is? I'm not sure if it was a rhetorical question, but I will answer that. Some people may not know about me, but more importantly, I think I'm not everybody's style. I think I have a way about myself, my personality, right? And that's one reason why there's so many coaches in general for other things, because you may want to follow something that you connect with more, that you agree with more or whatever. So I'm not for everybody. However, I think my advice is very solid. I don't know about other coaches, to be honest. I don't follow their advice, nor am I in their groups to see their advice. But I certainly think that I might not be for everyone, and that's fine, you know? No hard feelings if my style is not for you. I come across very direct. I come across, I come across, I'm like your business mom. I yelled at my sister yesterday. Also, she's my sister, so I could yell at her. I was very hard on her because she was not listening. And with other things she was not listening to. I know better, but I know better. And I want to make sure that she follows it. She's my sister. I want to make sure she succeeds. And sometimes I'm like that with you guys. For example, next week, Monday, I'm relaunching the shop critiques for you guys. And just so you know, it's very thorough. A lot of these are lasting, by the way, an hour, which is unexpected. Usually it's 45 minutes to an hour, which is fine. But I tend to get very passionate in my critiques and want you to know that I'm not yelling at you, or maybe I am, but it's for the good. I want you to understand how passionate I am when I say that, when I do things like that, okay? So let me let you guys go. I have to begin work. Busy, busy weekend. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Again, I'll be working on, I have to do some emails, but I'll be working on the webinar to get that going, get that up, running, getting more parts added, and that's it. I have a few emails I have to answer from you guys. I'll be answering them shortly in a few posts recently. Somebody posted right before the Facebook Live that they have not received their instructions for the shop critique that they purchased recently. FYI, when you purchase a shop critique, okay, when you log into the account that you purchased it under, you got to click on it. It's like a class. You got to click on it. You got to follow the instructions, okay? That's number one. So there's a few people that have not done that yet. I don't have my paper with me. Follow the instructions. I've sent you an email. If you don't have the email, it's in your spam folder for you to schedule a date. It's simple as that, okay? So make sure you get that done if you're one of those people. I get that. I have a friend that I keep telling to follow you, and she hasn't. Why? Why, Renee? She's following somebody else, and that's fine. If it works for her, it works for her. But if she just doesn't want to follow anybody, that's crazy talk. Anyway, guys, I will let you guys go. Have a fantastic Monday. I hope you got something out of today's Facebook Live, even if it's as simple as, hey, let me be more cautious as to the advice I'm getting out from the outside world. Not my advice. My advice is solid. But any other advice, because while free advice is certainly for free, even paid for advice, even advice that really if it was bad advice, you want to think about it like this. If it was bad advice, could it really hurt some things, And if the answer is yes, if it's really going to be a bad outcome, then you might want to be careful of who you get it from, okay? So, her loss for sure, certainly. Okay, guys. Have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.